Fortnite Ballistic might be the most fun and broken thing that Epic Games has released in a long time. It's a Counter-Strike and Valorant clone with a personality all its own. So let's dive into the state of the game in November 2025 and see if it's worth playing. Just in case you're not familiar with games like Valorant or Counter-Strike, these are basically tactical shooters. You buy your weapon every round, you try to place the bomb, fend it, or you try to stop the enemy team from placing the bomb, and you defuse it. When a lot of people think about Fortnite, they think about the Battle Royale. But there's more to it than that. And this shows the tight, fast gameplay you can get when they go first person, and all the problems that come along with it. So what makes Fortnite Ballistic fun? To me personally, it's some of the most fun you can have in Fortnite outside of the custom modes. Unlike Battle Royale, you're not constantly building yourself up and then losing or getting third-partied, and all that progress just goes away. You get to jump right into the action on a level, competitive playing field. Or at least that's the intention. Me, I find a fair fight a lot more appealing. That's definitely what Ballistic is attempting to offer you. I say attempting because it's completely broken. While the concept is tried and true, Fortnite Ballistic implements many elements in its early access that simply do not level the playing field and undermine the competitive nature of what Fortnite Ballistic is trying to be. We're going to dive into a few of those things now, starting off with the shotgun. It's nearly an entirely game-changing element. If you're playing a match where no one's using a shotgun, you get a fair, balanced, competitively paced, and thoughtful experience. But once someone on either team grabs a shotgun, I've seen matches devolve into everyone has a shotgun. Because just like in Battle Royale, up close and even at medium ranges, you can't beat the shotgun. And certain power-ups in the game, such as the bubble shield, speed serum, has fighting someone else who's using a shotgun make you feel like you're not even playing, or you might as well just set down your controller. Wouldn't go as far to say it's not fair, but it's entirely game-changing. And if you don't adapt, you will not win. And by adapting, I mean huddling in a corner at the farthest sight line you can find, or picking up a shotgun yourself. Speaking of far sight lines, let's talk about the sniper. The Reaper Sniper is basically the op from Counter-Strike, and includes many of the same issues the weapon has into Fortnite Ballistic. However, Fortnite Ballistic is in early access, and Counter-Strike's been around for over 10 years. So with a much less refined experience, you can find yourself in positions where entire lanes are essentially erased. You can't even traverse them, and they might as well not exist, because you'll never make it down that lane without getting killed instantly. And I'll talk about it later on sometimes, but you won't even have a chance to see who shoots you or fire back. And the sniper is still extremely dangerous in close ranges. The unscoped accuracy is way too high, making it essentially an across-the-map shotgun. If you don't adapt, you'll lose. And by adapt, I basically mean hide until they try to chase you because they get bored. The next element is the maps in the game. Probably one of the most important parts, and so I'll talk about this one for a little longer. There's currently 5 maps in Fortnite Ballistic's rotation, but most days you wouldn't even know. Because for 6 to 8 games, they won't show you a new map. You'll play the same one over and over again until they throw you a bone, put you on a different map for one match, and then you'll go back to the old map for another 6 to 8 matches. The design of these maps is almost correct. In most areas, you're going to find yourself in a fair and competitive environment where you can hold your own, play angles, and implement strategies. However, in several of these, it's simply not balanced. Let's take a look at one map in particular, Cinder Watch. As you can see up here towards the red site, there's only one way to the site unless you go up mid. This spot can effectively be held off with a single person, stalling the game for minutes, or even timing out entirely in certain circumstances, forcing you to go other directions. You might be thinking, oh well, we'll just go up mid. Well, maybe, but what this map doesn't show you is that from the attacking side, it's uphill the entire way. Not only can the defenders see you, you have to turn this corner. And once again from this spot here, you can be entirely blocked and defended against. Well, let's say you wanted to go to the blue zone. There's an entire blind right angle you have to infiltrate. You might think that's okay, I'll just throw a smoke and run in. Well, fire bombs, landmines, hand grenades, and 2 high ground positions the defenders get overlooking the entrance pretty much makes that a death sentence. You'll be forced to slowly try to angle out 1 or 2 opponents to make an opening, hoping that they don't have a sniper, or they kill you as soon as they see you. This makes it to where if you're attacking, sometimes you can get entirely stalled out a whole game. Let's talk about one more map, K-Zone Commons. As you can see by the picture, it's a mess. There's 3 ways, sometimes 4 ways to get anywhere you're trying to be, and if you pick the wrong side to defend, you probably won't make it to the other side of the map in time to have any kind of impact. on the way the game plays out. Not only are there more angles than you could possibly cover, but there are so many little cubbies and corners and hidey holes, halfway walls. Any camper could be anywhere. There's simply nothing you can do to safely make it from one side of the map to the other. Overall, I would say the maps are the second biggest issue in Fortnite Ballistic, and I could make an entire video on them alone. However, that's not what this video is, so I'm going to talk about one more, and that's to say Skyline, the original map that they created for the Fortnite Ballistic concept. Probably one of the best maps in Fortnite. It's extremely fun to play, very fair. Makes the game worth it when it comes up in the rotation. But now let's talk about something that isn't fair at all. Talking about the models and animations. When you think of Fortnite, you probably think of all the emotes, all the songs, cranking 90s, everything that you've got, all the lore, all of the culture that's been built up around it. But you think of the literally hundreds of different skins, characters, size models, and this leads to game-breaking animation issues to the point where characters like General Grievous, and actually a lot of the Star Wars characters, don't even hold a gun. And what I mean is they don't have hands or arms from a first-person perspective at all. The gun just floats in front of them like they're using the Force, and all the animations play on the gun as if you were manipulating it. And then you've got characters like Mechagodzilla, where their hands are so big and they only have 3 fingers, so they literally hold the gun as if their fingers were chopsticks. While not game-breaking on its own, many of these models can lead to game-breaking issues, such as, for a long time, the Terminator. And there's also one character who has fire in their eyes. And you might think that's cool, but what isn't cool is that fire floating in front of your first-person camera, because this model was meant for third-person play, so you can't see anything except for a big red glow on your screen. As we move into this next part of the video, we're going to talk about hitboxes. So with this game being like Counter-Strike, shooting your opponent accurately is critical to making a game-winning play or being useful at all in a match. But when you've got characters like Finn from Adventure Time, where's his hitbox? Where's his head? Is it his hat? It is his face? Where's his neck? Well, let's take a look at the pickle. When you need to find a character's head, most of the time, the rule of thumb is you shoot them in the face. That doesn't always work, and so you fall back to shooting them in the chin. Where's this character's neck? Where is their chin? Problem gets much worse on a character like the Banana, an iconic Fortnite skin. However, his face is so low on his head that he's got this entire area nearly twice the size of his face above where a character's head would normally be. This entirely destroys your muscle memory, where now all of a sudden you have to shoot lower than a character's head in order to get a headshot. Take a quick look at Goku. You might think, oh, he's humanoid, that'll be easy. I'll just shoot him in the head like a regular character. Well, his hair is so large that his character model is actually shorter than an average character model to compensate. But what they didn't do is move the hitbox. With a character like this, his hair is not a hitbox. You still have to shoot him in his head. His tiny little shrunken down head. Opposite goes for Homer Simpson. They made him bigger, but they didn't move his hitbox. You have to shoot him in the chin. His forehead, and honestly anything below the eyes, doesn't even hit him. This leads to entirely unfair scenarios in many situations where you can find yourself looking directly where an enemy should be to shoot you, even though you're looking directly at them. Because turns out your camera hooked to your hitbox is not represented where your character model is. So they saw you sitting there like an idiot and just shot you while you were waiting for them to turn the corner. Now let's talk about ranked mode. Or should I say, the only mode. When it first came out, there was ranked and unranked, just like every other mode, and then they got rid of the unranked. So you're literally playing for rank in every single match, with penalties if you leave. Which, as you can tell by the first part of the video, is not great, because the competitive nature is not balanced. At this time in the game's state, you'll literally lose matches for reasons nearly outside of your control, or completely destroy opponents because I guess they don't know how to play against your skin, or what part of the map is more advantageous. There aren't even tournaments for this game. The ranks don't really mean anything. Unreal, and still be finding people who just downloaded the game yesterday. Now they do incorporate a loss prevention for your first match, but that's not really a good way to warm up. Let's go ahead and jump into the inconsistencies. Where you'll see inconsistencies most often will be in the matchmaking. Sometimes you'll be playing with people who simply can't even walk, they don't know where to look. Or you'll be playing with people who can seemingly take an entire clip and kill you instantly just by spinning around. Not saying that people are cheating, I haven't seen anybody directly do that yet, but I wouldn't be too surprised. It is early access and doesn't seem like Epic's paying too much attention. Now, when it comes to equipment, there's also a lot of inconsistencies. Just today, I saw the situation where a player was entirely blind from their perspective. I was watching them from the death cam, they couldn't see anything, and then they get shot instantly, and on their kill cam, were simply standing out in the open, despite being completely enveloped in smoke from their perspective. Flashbangs are far worse about this. Sometimes your screen will stay entirely white for 5 to 10 seconds, but if you get hit directly with a flashbang, some black cloud just sticks to your screen and you can't really look past it. Or sometimes you'll get flash and nothing happens at all. And then there's the smoke grenades, or when you mix the smoke grenades, because there's two. There's the healing smoke grenade, which is green, and then there's the regular smoke grenade, which is just white smoke. Both of them completely obscure your character, allowing nothing to be seen, unless you mix them both, in which case your character turns into a black silhouette, completely visible from everybody inside and outside of the smoke. And a recent thing that started happening is with the scan grenades, which I personally try to use every match. I think they're the best. To give you wall hacks. You could see a red outline of the enemy's character moving exactly as they are in the game. Now, sometimes there's just a white arrow above the enemy's head, which I think is more balanced and a better way to implement the feature. But you get them both, just randomly one or the other, or simply both, a red outline with an arrow pointing at it. With all that said, should you even try playing Fortnite Ballistic? I would say absolutely. If you love Fortnite or first-person shooters, even tactical shooters, it is fun, despite being broken. Don't take it too seriously. Even though it's ranked, the ranks don't really matter. Just don't quit a match or you'll get a matchmaking penalty where you can't join for a few minutes. But honestly, in my opinion, that kind of challenge makes you better. It can be discouraging, and it can feel bad to lose some of these matches due to things that are nearly outside your control, but there's still a lot of satisfaction in getting an ace, making a clutch play, or just improving, and you'll definitely see improvement if you hop in. And then you've got the memes, the funny skins, the emotes, the songs, characters. It can be entirely goofy, and that adds a lot of character to it. Something that you're not going to get out of a game like Counter-Strike, slightly more extent Valorant. But as you know, nothing's like Fortnite. So now we've made it to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts about the state of Ballistic in November of 2025. I'll probably make this video again for 2026 if we're still playing, and hopefully it's out of early access and more polished by then. But as for now, this about sums it up. What do you think about Fortnite Ballistic? Please leave a comment below and make sure to subscribe to come back to see the next one. Thank you and have a great day.